But you got to put those type of guys like Melo, only because of his, NBA goes off a look too. Because of his look, he's going to be in a big market. Light-skinned, girl. But that's why, no. Think about it. Like if you go back.
Skin tone matters.
If you go back, look at some of those draft picks, and I remember when Kevin Durant was coming out, right? Mm-hmm. Those teams was Portland and Seattle. Him or Gordon.
Greg Oden.
Greg Oden didn't look attractive.
Welcome to another edition of the No Chill Show. I'm Mike Botticello. I'm joined, as always, by we're gonna go back in time here a little bit, but Valley Assassin, that dude over there, Agent Zero, the Hibachi, Gilbert Arenas.
How you doing?
Gil, we're joined by Etop Udo-Ema.
There it is.
Very special guest today on the show, the mastermind of AAU basketball. And we came to his house to do it.
Yes.
Let's start from square one, right? Because a lot of people don't know how the system works. And there's a lot of probably assumptions and myths that we're gonna break up. So let's get into that right now. The AAU system, where it is now to where it's evolved, because with the Compton Magic, the team you established in 1993, it's come a long way in the last 27 years.
Yeah, it's been through all kind of transitions. So like when Gil played, there wasn't many teams back then, right? So it was only, his team was like Pump and Run, TPI, SoCal All-Stars, to the evolution of shoe company leagues. So now you have R3SSB, you have the EYBL, and you have the Under Armour Association. So with the 3 shoe leagues now, there's a lot more volume of teams. So we have 28 teams, Nike has 36 teams, and Under Armour has 36 teams. So back when Gil played, there was only a handful of teams in the country. Mm-hmm. You had to be special to get on one of these AAU teams. Had a bunch of mom and pop teams, but you had to be special to be on one of those teams that Gil played on back in the day, one of the top guys in these areas. There probably nationally was only, 15 reputable AAU programs in the country in his era. Back when we started, we were a local team, just like all the local teams. We weren't like we were now. And now there's a lot more teams in these places because the shoe companies have came in and put more money into grassroots.
So we want to examine why you put that team together, but for you, Gil, back to what Tope was saying was, how did you make your first AAU team? Because that process is way different.
Yeah. What's funny is I was Park League. So back then, Park League was the so I was a Park League player, right? Park League, I was the man. So there was really no way to get to AAU unless someone seen you. So it was like more adult league. So it was like Park League, play adult, play with the grown men, go to Venice Beach, play with them on Saturday and Sunday, go to Valley College Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then it was like, then you had the, was it Rich Goldberg? Rich Goldberg,
ARC.
ARC North Hollywood. So boom, I get the ARC, killing that one. And then from there, I got recruited to the Pumps.
Eric Brown.
Yep, Eric Brown.
That's my guy,
EB. EB got me to the Pumps. EB got me to Grant too once I established. So I got with the Pumps. Well, back then I wasn't on the elite. I don't think I ever made the elite team.
You did at the end.
No.
Yeah, when you were averaging 35 points in the Valley,
I was still on the B team. Still on the B team because you had the LA kids that was taking all the.
They were more reputable, but you still were playing with them.
Yeah, I was still playing. Yeah, I never got to the. Yeah. So it was back then. You had to. It was like there was a process, especially for a Valley. In the Valley, you only had Pumps and the Cavs, and with the Cavs program, that was local, but they was a quiet knit team. It was like they were picking. So it was more. It was harder. It was really hard to actually get into AAU.
Well, I was gonna say there was also probably a purpose to it, and that's what you discovered. But for that Pump team, I think at that time the purpose was basically as an all-star team. Because if you're talking about going from the park to let's get you on the next level of competition.
You had players who started on their high school team coming off the bench, 12th man on the AAU team back then.
But then also it's a place to evaluate talent, which is a really key ingredient of AAU basketball. But for the Compton Magic, specifically for you, Tope, Tell us your why. Why did you put that together, and why did you
so
feel
our
the
why,
need for
like,
it?
obviously our why at the beginning is a little different than our why at the end. So our why at the beginning was we were coaching in a very socially and economically deprived area, and we had a lot of issues with our kids. So, but we were starting to develop a good team. So what happened was in '93 we had all these kids. We took the job at Compton High, and it was just a bunch of kids who really didn't know basketball, no talent. I'm not gonna say no talent, but not as much talent and more social work. We were just doing social work. We started to recruit some players. We got Jeff Trepanier young as an 8th grader. He was our first pro that we had in the program, and we started to build the program. But really what happened was we saw that we had some pretty good talent, and we wanted to keep the kids together year round because our kids were getting killed. Our kids were getting in gang. There was all kind of gang stuff going on in Compton at the time, and it was crazy. So we saw Dominguez at the time who had this model, right? Dominguez had this model. They went and they had a great high school team, and then they played a team called the Hood in the spring and summer. You remember the Hood? Tyson, Jason Thompson, James Thomas, Kenny, Tayshaun Prince, all those guys. So at the same time that they were good, we were starting to emerge as being good too. We weren't quite as brand name as them. We were more local, but we started to have our share of players. So we just decided, we said, we're gonna try. We didn't have any sponsorship or no money. Me and my partner, he had a job, I had a job. We just paid for all the stuff out of our pocket. And we just wanted to basically keep our kids together so that we could keep them out of harm's way. And that's how we started initially. So initially, some people think like they see like the new people that are out there now and they see us winning all these championships and all these NBA players. And it's like, that's not why we started this. Like me and my guy, we had jobs. We did it because we loved it. And we were coaching our high school team, and we were just trying to do the best for our high school kids at the time. And from '93 to I would say 2005, we were predominantly a Compton high school team. We were all Compton kids. We had some mixture kids in there, but we pretty much kept all of our Compton kids together, and that was our purpose. Our purpose changed after we started getting the sponsorship deals and all that happened. It changed a little bit.
Is there a conflict? Is that why? Because I remember with, Cavs and Daryl, he also coached the high school team, and that was his players. So, and Dominguez, with SCA, most of those guys.
They shared them. So you remember, Dominguez they played with SCA sometimes, then they played with Russell sometimes on the Hood. They switched, just like you did. You went pumps, you did TPI, you jumped around, did your thing. Same thing with them. So Dominguez, whenever the Hood was playing, they played with the Hood. But if the Hood wasn't playing, Pat took them.
Okay. So you can't coach a high school team now in AAU, right?
Yes, you can.
You still can? Oh, so you can.
Spoon's a high school coach.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't know you. I thought that was like you couldn't recruit.
Now,
You're laughing, but explain how
so that I was trying to figure out.
How that works.
So it's kind of a gray area. You're not supposed to be able to recruit a kid off your AAU team to your high school. But now there's that 30-day sit-out rule, which kind of exonerates that whole thing, so guys can transfer and sit out.
Okay.
But if you're going to like one of the bigger schools, Sierra, Mater Dei, like those guys, they control CIF.
But
they get eligible.
Isn't that the better way to do it though? Like if you have an amazing talent on your team, wouldn't you want to coach him in the summer also to make sure someone's not messing up?
All right, the next thing I want to get into is we kind of talked about the history and how you establish things, but really walk us through how the system works today for the modern athlete, modern basketball player through AAU.
So, like, you're going to play your high school season, right? And say it was for my son. Let's talk about if it was my kid. If it was my kid, to be the perfect environment. You're going to play your high school season. So you want to be in a high school that's at least competitive. I think a little bit competitive so that you can get that 6 months of every day in practice. You're not wasting all that time, right? You're not wasting time every day, all day in practice. So then you're going to transfer into AAU. Now, it's tough because say you're a parent and like if you're us, you can't just come play for us. Like we handpick the kids. We handpick the families. Like you can't, we have 100 calls a day trying to get in the team, but I mean, like, unless my whole team is looking at these kids all year long, and we're watching the families, we're watching the kids, we're seeing who we want in our locker room. We're GMing this team.
Yeah.
So we're not just bringing on, like, I might have a kid, I'm not gonna name any names, we talked about him earlier. They wanted to come play for us. They were top 10 in the country. His dad called me, he was like, yo, Toe, come on, let's get this together. He wanted to come play with the Mobleys. And I was like, can't do it. Even Adidas called me, like, you sure you ain't gonna take him?
Yeah.
I said, nah, we're good, man. I said, I said, the guys that have been in my program, Johnny Juzang and the Mobleys and all the kids we have, they've earned the right to get shots. I'm not gonna bring him in to take away from their shots. And I said, I think without him, we'll be pretty good. And we were the undisputed national champs that year. And I still didn't take another top 10 player in the country. His dad called me trying to get on. So, you know, going back, I diverted a little bit, but so when you're trying to pick an AAU team, depending on what talent level you are, it depends on what kind of kid we're talking about. Are we talking about a high major kid, a mid major kid, a low major kid? Because obviously there's different opportunities for all three of those kids, right? Because I'm gonna take some low major kids too that are gonna have opportunities, but it's gonna be tough for you to get on my team as that type of kid, right? If you're not even one of those kids, now AAU becomes a crapshoot. I mean, you're just gonna go have to play for a team that's not on one of the major circuits, because right now we have 3 major circuits. And it's beneficial for you to play on those 3 major circuits because, number one, the population of all the talent is on one of those circuits nationally, right? Because the shoe companies are obviously picking these AAU guys to find the best talent in all these different cities. Everyone is. And they're pressuring these guys to get the best players. So you don't find many really good players that are outside of those 3 circuits. There's a couple, but not many. So then if you're not on one of those 3 circuits, Under Armour, Adidas, Nike, and you're an independent, there's a 4th circuit, like an independent circuit. It's a lot harder than being on those 3 circuits, because you can imagine if we have 28 teams, Nike and Under Armour have 36 teams. We're gonna play our events in certain places, and all the college coaches are coming to watch one of those 3 shoe companies. If you have 3 coaches on the road, which you can have 3 coaches on the road, they're gonna send one to the Adidas tournament, they're gonna send one to the Nike tournament, they're gonna send one to the Under Armour tournament. Doesn't leave much for the other guys.
Yeah.
So, like, what happens now is with the leagues, it's like you have to get on one of those sponsor teams. If not, you're not gonna get that max exposure. That's kind of the way they got it played right now. They explain that's the important part for kids and parents. Like, they're trying to get all the eyes on them, but the eyes are in those 3 places.
Your time, it really was just organization in getting, up to another level of competition.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
This is a good, listen, you know what's crazy? Like, for you, this right here is good for you because your son, I heard, is really good. And I heard he's 13. So, like, you're about to embark in a place that's gonna be a little different for you, because in the younger age groups, it's easy when you have a good kid. You can have 1 or 2 good kids and you can dominate youth. You can dominate those 13s and 12s and 14s, right? When you get to high school, everybody got budget. Everybody got expertise. You know what I mean? So, like, everyone was like, I had the kid Mikey Williams, and he was playing with Bronny a little bit, but I've known Mikey's dad since he's been in diapers. So I knew he was gonna play for us. But it's like, there's way more when you get to high school than just having some money and being able to go on the road. Like, do you know Evan Daniels? Do you know Eric Bossy, Paul Biancardi, the 3 guys, 3 major ranking sources that rank you so you can get in the damn draft? Do you know all these college coaches who are gossiping amongst each other? How well is your relationship with every coach in the country that can help gossip your kid up to a certain level? Do you know these motherfuckers? If you don't know these motherfuckers, like, it doesn't matter how much money you got, your kid may not be in the right platform. So there's a method to the madness. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some kids that no matter what, they're good enough. You can put them on a platform and they're just gonna figure it out. But at the end of the day right now, if we're going back to the day where you go straight to the draft, every rep is important. If we go in there, every rep is important. Because listen to this, if they bring that rule back, which they're going to, and let's just use Mikey as an example. God willing, he stays injury-free. God willing, he gets better. God willing, all those things happen for him that give him the opportunity to have that opportunity, right? But let's say that happens. It's like every rep for him, we're gonna have NBA guys at our AAU games. It's gonna be packed. The whole baseline is gonna be the whole league watching this kid play. High school games.
Tope,
I
can see Gil.
In 2 years, now.
This is a rare occasion because Gil's at a loss for words right now. Because you're thinking as a player, as a parent, and as a coach.
No, because now that I'm jumping into AAU, like I'm seeing, like, cause I'm sitting here like, how does this team make AAU. This is not even Park League team. And, to realize it became more of a business, like it's a professional, like
Yes.
it's, AAU, it seems like it's like college and like the NBA. So you have to set your, wow.
No, think of this though. Think of this. So, your friend Tim is my guy, and we did a little show, and it's like the show on us, it's called, like, they call me the linchpin, right? Because I'm the linchpin in all these different areas. Agents, NBA, college coaches, high school coaches, youth coaches. Like, I'm pushing narrative on all those worlds, especially with all the elite talent that I have, right? So, like, for me, I go sit down with a parent if I want a kid, right? We have a PowerPoint, we do professional, but like, if you look at my PowerPoint, bro, it's just gonna be tough to pass on it because it's gonna show you the expertise from having a player who was really good, taking him all the way through to the draft. The player who wasn't good, taking him all the way through to the draft, and the proof of that. And it does take expertise in placement and branding and all these different things that you can't just go play in tournaments. There's more method and madness than that. That's why we've been a little bit different than everybody.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, this is totally different than what I remember.
He's
Yes.
speechless right now.
No, because because I remember, the big names, like you had the big names back then. You see who they're playing for. You're sitting there like, I'm a shark. I'm a shark back in the day, so I'm sitting there, okay, yeah, I'm about to get him. He can't do this. So that's how, you get seen. Because I remember for the most part, every time I played in the AAU tournament, like the pumps, the one they did was in Carson.
Yep.
The big one in Carson.
Yep.
My games was either like 7 in the morning, nobody there. 9 at night, nobody there. You know what I mean? So there was 2 years where I'm out there averaging 30-something, nobody's seen it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So so I get that, I get that sample, but to have a whole recruiting just on AAU players is...
No, it's crazy now.
So Gil, you got in the car to drive here quite a ways, right? We're out here in Riverside, California. I think what you have to do now is you're gonna have to be in that car and you're gonna have to go evaluate talent and start scouting and recruiting, and he wasn't ready for that.
No, I mean, it's just one of those things that, you hear about AAU, you see, I go there, I go to the games every Saturday, every weekend, see the kids. Okay, that kid went somewhere. Like you can see, but I haven't seen this world because my kid is not in that world.
Right, not yet.
My kid is not in that age group where you see the top talents.
But let's
I see Mikey, but I've never seen them play because his age group ain't,
with your kid.
It's not my kid. So my kid is too young, so we don't get to see the new high school.
But let me give you this though. This is something that I think you guys can really relate to. So take Bronny's team, Strive for Greatness. They were a rock star team last year. Yeah. Rock stars. Sky Clark, Bronny, all these really good young kids. They brought them from all over the country, right? They played kind of 8th, 9th grade, like 15s and 14s. But the thing now is they remember when you get to high school, you can only play in a bordering state. So you can't use them kids from all over the country now. Now you're in our world. Our world's a little different. Right? What? Yeah. So you can't bring kids from all over the country to play on my high school team. It can only be a bordering state.
Oh, wow.
So now you bring in the white kid from Florida, I don't know where he lives, Gabe Cups, wherever he live at. You got all these kids playing your team. Well, that cuts half of your team because they got to live in California, Oregon, Arizona, or Vegas. So you can't take them kids no more. So now you got to get the California kids. Now, they had a really good team, but the one thing that sometimes the NBA guys don't realize, like, people were like, hey, what do you think about Strive for Greatness? I think it's a good team, but like when they start getting to the 17s, it's gonna be tough for them. It ain't gonna be as easy. You know why? Because number one, that team has a narrative. That's LeBron Jr. That's the narrative, right? I mean, and that's gonna be other people. All parents want their kids to shine. The good ones, whether they're gonna piggyback you or whoever else. So it's not hard to make a parent understand that, Sky Clark left that team. You interviewed him, but that team is all world, but he left the team. You know what I mean? Yeah. You would think that would be impossible for like a kid like that. Like, you're good. Why would you ever leave LeBron's team?
Well, I would say it's this, and I'll put this on you, Gil, is do you want to be the main man, the one-man attraction on your team, or do you want to be on a team of all-stars?
You know, I'm on the fence of both of them because, I came from just being a man. You know what I mean? So, my thought process was always kill mode. I didn't really have to share the light with anybody. Even when I went to other teams, when I went to, TPI, they subbed me in 1-4 flat. I don't know what y'all offense is, but I know what my offense is. Yeah. And it's gonna be 1-4 flat, like it or not, I'm gonna score 50 at the half. That's right. What I'm gonna do. So if you have the mindset to shine, you're gonna shine no matter what is around. But I see kids now that it's different than when I grew up. You only played with your friends for the most part, people you grew around with. Now these kids they're teaming up. They're playing a tournament and see, I like him. Let's team up together. So it seems like there's more, collabs than there were when I played.
But does it work like that? Is it on the kids or on the
he's
coaches?
right. No, Gilbert's right now. So I will tell you this: there are collabs. There's a lot of collabs. Now we haven't been based on that. Like, we've been fortunate enough, like that team that we had that had Isaiah Mobley, who was McDonald's All-American, Onyeka Okongwu, who's going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Evan Mobley is going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Johnny Juzang, who went from Kentucky to UCLA. Mm-hmm. Jared Lucas, who's California's all-time leading scorer. Jalen Clark, who's going to UCLA. Isaiah Hill, who's at Tulsa. So we had 7 high major players in this team, right? Who really all got what they wanted. But the reason they got to do that is because every single one of those kids started off in our uniform in the 8th grade. Never played for another AAU team. So, which is unheard of in today's game. Most kids are jumping around, playing with each other. Those kids that we had, there's one of them, Jalen Clark is going to UCLA, but they all stuck around and played together the whole way through. At the end of the day, it's like most of the teams are like Gilbert says, they're doing collabs. We're fortunate enough to recognize the talent younger, make them friends, make their parents friends, and make them want to do the journey together.
And then from there, the horse is going to pick.
We're going to have 4 to 5 NBA players on the team. There's going to be 4 or 5 NBA players on that team. There's going to be 3 for sure. Could be 4 or 5.
You can see where the success, because you're building from 8th grade. They're getting to know each other and they're picking their own roles and understanding how to play with each other while you're still developing their talent. Boom. So it's not like you're just picking some guy from here and just say, you're developing your own talent.
Well,
we didn't add any new talent to that team. We added no new talent to that team. No, it's different. Like, that's the reason why I call that team one of the more special teams in AAU history. We'll see how they do in college. In college and the pros. But like, it wasn't an all-star team. Everybody else, like, that had that. Even Pat Bear's team that they say this is the greatest of all time with Kevin Love and Brandon Jennings. Remember, Kevin Love started with the Portland Legends. Mm-hmm. Then he went to SCA. He didn't play SCA his whole high school career. He played his last 2 years. Brandon Jennings left SCA his last year, went to play for Dinos at Belmont Shore. Went and played Belmont Shore his last year. So those kids didn't play exclusive SCA. They played in that one team together that was unbelievable. That was, it is one of the best teams ever. I saw that whole run. But again, like the kids that we had on our team played together the whole way through. They were all homegrown. So that's a little bit different.
Man.
And even this year's team.
I remember when, I come in, like, one player that you had.
I know who you're going to say. Go ahead, but go say it.
He's scared the shit out of me.
Tito Badass!
Yeah, hey, Tito. Boy.
Yeah, Tito Badass. Hey,
man.
listen, let me tell you. So I don't know if you remember this. We were playing in an all-star game. I was coaching the game. You were in it. It was, and you and Tito were both in it. I forgot where we were playing. But it was a senior all-star game. Mm-hmm. And you were like, hey, am I on Tito's team? Am I on Tito's team?
Yeah. I did not want to play against him, man.
Yeah, you're like, am I on Tito's team?
Because he was like, he played bully basket. Like, there's LA, like, fouling you hard. But then there's that style of just brute speed, strip. Like, he had it all. It was like, what is this? It was like, it was like Zion as a guard, though.
Yep.
Like the dribble was like it was like he played like he was mad at basketball.
Yep.
The dribble was hard, the drive was hard, and it was like, man, I gotta wear football pads and play against this dude, bro. Like I want to be on his team. I'm not trying to stick this dude all on. Like where's the skinny little white kid I can run up and kill the whole time? Like I can't. He was like you try to go by him, like if it's a straight clothesline, pick you up. Like it was like so passive aggressive style. But the
TITO
dribble
was a monster.
it was a monster style.
You mentioned some challenges now too, and I think the greatest challenge is to refine the talent
Parents
that you have to work with.
Biggest challenge.
We're gonna get to that one next. but it's refining the talent that you have to work with, because at the youth level, it's the focus. How do you instill that in them?
So, at first, like when we were younger, we just had to deal with the talent we had, right? So that's a lot harder. When you just get thrown some kids and it's like
do it.
Deal with it. Like even with TITO, like let me tell you something. TITO, MADDOX, David Hamilton, Milton Riley, who went to Washington State, the kids, Ellis Miles, who went to Louisville, all the kids we had there, Jeff Trepanier, they were all neighborhood kids. So, they all had issues somewhere, whatever it might be in their situation, compared to the kids we have now, which like have both parents that, they're middle to upper middle class families. The kids that we have on our team now, it's a little bit different of a demographic. That changes everything too, because obviously your kid is going to be a lot more cultural than those kids were back then. You have a lot more culture, and it's going to be a lot easier to deal with certain situations with those kids. So the times, is everything, because a kid, us picking kids now, and we're very selective too. So we're very selective of the kids we take, and we're very selective when we recruit a kid, we recruit their parents too. I mean, that's a big part of it. The parents is a big part of it too, because the parents can ruin your team.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it. I be seeing kids like after the games, like I had to tell one parent, because he was just yelling, shoot the ball, pass the ball, pass it to my son. Shoot. If you miss this free throw, so I'm seeing I'm sitting there like, yo, that's not how this works. How we see the game from outside is not how they're processing during the game. If a kid knows he's open, he will shoot it, but he figured he wasn't open to shoot that ball. Let me come to your job while you typing. Push the button now. Send it now. Push this word. He gets irritated, So I said, when a kid is playing, you have to let him see the game for himself. Even though we see it faster, because we get to see the whole view. We don't have to dribble, dodge this guy and do it. We can pass it up. Yeah, he's gonna see it a little bit later because he has extra to do before he gets that pass. We just looking like, my son's open, make the pass, So it's weird, because I try to set the example as a parent and just sit there. I figure if I'm a pro, I played at a professional level, I have a kid on the team, that if you see what I'm doing, you know what to do.
You shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, so if I'm just sitting there being, my son doesn't set 22 minutes and I ain't say a word, motherfucker don't say nothing. You know what I mean? You don't see me yelling though. Don't yell.
You should be yelling.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
But that's been around youth sports forever. What do we call that? A Little League parent? And that's only gonna hurt their kid, because they're always looking over their shoulder, not for the coach, but what their mom or dad is gonna be doing on the sideline. And not to mention where you are now.
But you guys don't even forget AAU, the league is watching that.
Sure. Yeah.
The league is watching that. Every kid wants to play in the NBA. Let's be real. Anyone dribbling the basketball wants to play in the NBA, right? But what our kids don't understand is take Onyeka's pre-draft process right now. He's pretty much a basketball nerd, so they're not finding anything on him, but they're looking for everything. They're calling people in the dorms. They're calling everybody. They're trying to find out what color underwear he wears. They know everything about this kid. They know everything. If your dad's a loudmouth or a wild ass, they're gonna know who he is. They're gonna be like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if we should draft him at 5, man. His dad might be talking crazy about the GM. We ain't doing that. That's how fast it is.
I remember doing when I got in, they were doing the little psych test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me a question. They said, would you rather build or cook? It was just a bunch of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right? Then they asked me, they said, would you rather make the game-winning shot or the game-winning assist? And I said, to be honest, none of it matters, right? Because one, I came from the Jordan era, so obviously the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
You want me to say assist, so it's a team thing. I'm gonna beat you to that. I'm gonna say I want the game-winning rebound. Because the game-winning rebound means I beat 9 other players to that ball, and and it shows my willingness to win. You see how stupid it comes now?
Yeah.
So I said, this is pointless. Why do you, and then he tries to break it down on, the background check and all this stuff. I said, for a kid, we're talking about kids. What do you think you're gonna find on a kid? He does dumb kid. Like you're really judging your basis off of what a kid does? Like, I'm pretty sure he mooned someone in the 6th grade. Like, I'm not gonna penalize him for what he did in the 11th grade when he was 17, drinking with his friend. That's what they're supposed to do. Nuts. Like, they're nuts. Like I'm bringing him in because I think he's the future. Right? I'm drafting him because I think he can help my team in the future. This is an adult world. I'm gonna teach him how to be an adult, so I don't care what he did as a kid. So most of those things, it just seems so stupid to me. Like, does the kid, all I need to know as a GM or owner, does he wanna get better? If he wants to be the greatest of all time, that's who I want. Because I don't have to worry about the outside life because I know he's gonna be in the gym. I don't care how crazy Westbrook is. I know he's gonna wanna be the best to get better. Fine with me. I don't care what James Harden is doing at 12 to 3 a.m. in the morning.
See, I see both sides of
because
that.
I know from 6 a.m. to midnight, he gonna be in the gym.
I see both sides of that. You want to hedge your bet, though. Because there's some things you might be able to see before they get there. Like, you might be able to see, I don't want to call them names out, but you might be able to see Antoine Walker. You might be able to see that coming.
But that's an element.
Okay, you might be able to see that, but that could be a part of to me, that was a part of his surroundings. And his surroundings got him caught up, but you're trying to see that.
Gil, you know what time it is. My favorite part of the show is Ask Agent Zero time. So we're gonna turn the tables on Gil. I know Tope is ready with some questions to put Gil on the hot seat, so what do you got for him?
What you got, Gil? So let me ask you a question, man. When you first got into when you were in the pre-draft process, how much money did you spend?
All of it. Shit, it ended up being all of it because, just like you're coming in.
I heard a story about you having cameras in your bumper.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Hey, so
I was right. I heard about that.
So out of college, you know what I mean?
Remember, that's before people did that.
Yeah, no, this was the year to Escalade.
Yeah.
This is the Escalade year. So dropped my car off at 310, right? Dropped it off at 310. Yeah, everybody. So, you're going in there like, what do you need? Like, what do you want? Me at first, just, a couple speakers, maybe a couple TVs. That's all right. And then you look over there, there's, it's Gary Payton's Escalade. Yo, what's in that one? Yo, he got mink floors. Mink floors? For real? And then what's the suede roof? Give me the suede roof. I want the suede roof for mine. That's like, okay, how about the TV that dropped down? What's the TV that dropped down for? For the people in the back. Give me the TV that dropped down for the people in the back. Right, so I'm sitting here looking at everyone Escalade, and I'm sitting here like, but if the TV's drop down, because this, if you get the TV, how you gonna see in the review? I was like, I don't know, you tell me. Camera in the bumper.
Easily sold.
That's what I heard. You got
I
the
was like,
camera,
the
in, the
camera in the
bumper.
bumper.
That's what I heard.
So when I reverse, I can see everybody behind. Oh my God, yes! Give me the. So when I'm reversing, I can see people behind me. So I can see somebody chasing me and everything. Like, so
Nobody had cameras in the bumper back then.
No, when
that
you're
was
19,
new.
Which is
dumb.
why you have to have it.
Like,
No, but that's what I heard. The big story I heard about him, he put cameras in his bumper.
Yeah.
People were like, cameras in his bumper?
Yeah.
That's back when, but they do it now. Before no one did that.
Before nobody
Ahead of
did
his
it.
time.
Nobody did that.
So, no, I was ahead of time.
He was the only
salesman was ahead of his time.
He might have been the only guy that had that.
Because he told me once it dropped down how I'm going to see. And I'm like, well, can you put, he's like, camera in the. So I'm sitting here just
Question,
spinning.
solution.
So I'm spinning like, it was a $50,000 truck. I got 4 12s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 TVs, suede roof, cameras everywhere. I spent almost 150 there. I spent jewelry, bought the jewelry, because back then it was the big initials.
Yep.
Everybody had the big initials, so with the big chains with the big initials on it.
The platinum?
Yeah,
The platinum joint?
So I'm all the way, chain going all the way here with the white tees.
Yep.
Got the white tees so you can see the bling, so I got it all. I spent, before I got drafted, almost $200,000.
Don't do that.
No, hey, don't do that. Don't do that, especially if you get picked in the second round. So my
Your
first
whole paycheck was spent.
My paycheck was gone. Like my first, when I did mine, it was like second round, because you already got the money slide, like pick one, 3 million. So I said, I'm gonna be top 10, so I'm at least a millionaire. Feel me, at 1.2, I'm good.
Yeah.
So when you 30, they ain't even got nothing for the 30.
They no scale
They no
30,
scale
yeah.
for the 30s. So when they told me my first check, 300,000,
You were like,
I'm like, for the year? They're like, for the year. I already spent that. Like, I done spent that already. We talk about. So when they did my budget.
you had no budget. You had to go to year two.
When they did my
Year two
budget, it was for both years. It was like, I can only spend $200 for the month of free money. Other than that, it was rent, gas. They had to put the gas in. No, it was just rent. It was rent, my dad's rent. It was my
Was
rent.
that car on the credit line?
No, I paid that. Oh, it was on the credit line. So I had to pay that back. Yeah. So I was on $200. You know how, bruh. Can I come back to college? Shit out. And that's what they said. I done blew up Arizona. Cause I was living way better when I was in Arizona.
So I never forget. So when Richard, I saw Richard working out one day. I think he got a Benz.
Mm-hmm.
He got a Benz, right? Am I right? He
Yep.
got a Benz. And I was like, damn, bro, you already got the Benz. He's like, yeah, I had to get something. He goes, Gilbert got all this shit going. I gotta keep up with Gilbert. He's for a trap. So I had heard about that. I didn't know whether to believe it or not. But I heard about that.
I was a dummy. Yeah. I was a dummy.
Hey, that's good. That's advice, guys. That's the PSA on what not to do.
Real life.
But
Real life story.
what's funny is with the new kids, they don't. That era, that was just that era. That era of bling and all that. Kids don't wear jewelry like that no more.
They got
Kids
smarter.
wear everything is like more small pieces. Nobody's wearing $300,000 bracelets anymore. Kids.
How much is your jewelry?
Huh?
How much is the jewelry that you got?
It was probably back then. It was probably 150. Didn't even wear it. Like, I'm too young to go to the club.
Yeah.
Like, that was the dumb part about, like, I can think about that now, but back then, it was like we wore the jewelry for our teammates, man, to show, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I remember Jason Richardson, he got the S500. So we were like,
Richard
D.
did too, didn't he?
Yeah, that was S500.
Richard did too.
So I was like, D, we did it. We did it, yeah, because I'm going to be in here too. Because, I had the Escalade, so once I got drafted, that's all, there's no more cars. So he had the Escalade too. So when we got with Dan, we both bought Escalade. Me, him, and Troy bought Escalades. So we was like, yeah. So after the draft, Gilbert, there's no more buying nothing for me. So he bought the S500.
Ooh, you were hot.
Right? So I'm happy. Like, we got it. Hey, when you pick me up, I can ride here. We pulled up to the arena. He see a dude named Vontigo Cummins, right?
I remember him, yeah.
S600, right? He was like, yo, how you get the S600? I'm like, maybe because he's an NBA player. But nah, his contract ain't like mine. So I need the S600. So I'm like, so if you get the S600, do I get the S500? He was like, nah, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this to my brother. And I'm sitting here like, man, see, that nigga got way too much money now, bro. Like,
What was he getting?
he was he was the 5th pick, so he was at the 2 point something.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, you know. Now what? Now them picks what? 7, 8 million? God dang.
Yeah, they get a lot of money.
Okay, so most first rounders are technically broke.
Right.
In theory. It's because of this. Let's take let's take back when I played. Even now, you're the number 1 pick, right? You have a fixed income. It's fixed. It's not, so if you're getting 21 million, it's 21 over 4 years. So if a player decides he wants to buy his parents a house, and that house is 3-4 million, after taxes, your first years went to that house. Now you have to furnish that house, right? That money's coming from the second year. Already, you done already spent your whole first year before you even made it to the NBA. So you bought the house, if you got a loan, whatever, you're spending money, you're doing this. So most time, midway through your first year, you're already on the second year's pay. All because you bought a house, then either you're gonna move in a condo or you're gonna buy a house too and put some money down, furnish that. So it's you already on borrowed money going from the beginning, and that's where it is. You're just spending your life on borrowed money. You're spending you're living basically check to check.
Yep.
No matter how it is, you're living check to check because it already started from back then. So what ends up happening is it's when players go broke when they're done, it's not because they spent all their money. It's because the bills they accumulated, hard bills, electric bill, mom's bill, dad's bill, sister's bill, this, cars, whatever, you're spending $100,000, $200,000 a month on hard bills. When you're done, money's gone. Money's just flying out, no money's coming in. So by the time you adjust your life, 3 years, it takes a pro to realize he's not a pro no more, 4 years. Normal person 2, pro 4 years. So he still thinks he still thinks he has a chance 2 years, then he's realized he's not getting. So 4 years, in that 4 years, if he had 10 million in the bank, he probably got 2 now. Just from bills just coming out, just hard bills before he realized.
In your time, people weren't making that kind of money. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to save that kind of money back then.
Yeah. Even now, no matter how much money you make, you're gonna find a way to spend it. If you take it let's take a James Harden's contract, 40 million. I mean, your house, you ain't gonna buy back in the day a $2 million house. You're gonna buy a $5, $10 million house because that's what your bank account says. You ain't gonna buy the S600.
Yeah,
you're gonna buy the Bugatti.
Yeah,
you're gonna buy the top of whatever it is at that point. So as a player, you gotta remember, it's not like we're going to school for money management. Nobody in, our generation knew what money was, so what ends up happening as a kid, your first thing to do is make everybody happy. So it's not the player, it's the environment too. Like, you want to make your mother happy. You're like, what type of son do you look like telling your mom that she has to downgrade when your career's done? Even though that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to downgrade, drop those bills in half to 2/3 to live normal. But how do you tell your mom, hey, you got to downgrade. We got to sell this house, get you in a smaller house. Me too. You don't. So you're sitting there with the pain, letting the money just being ate up before it's too late. So that's what ends up happening. It's not, it's in the child support don't. Child support gets adjusted to. It's just a lifestyle of just watching. You bought that?
So how many guys? Out of 10, how many guys? What's the percentage?
Out of 10?
Ooh. I know what they say.
6.5, 7?
Exactly what they say. That's the exact, that's what they say.
6.5, 7?
Yep, that's tough.
The players who are saving is probably the older players who's married. It ain't gonna be the young person with all the money. Nah, he's He's being young with all the money. It's that person who's making $2, $3, $5, $7 million and he's penny pinching because he has a wife and family and he's older, so he understands the value of money. You got to remember, by the time a player realizes what money is, unless he has a group around him that understands it.
Right.
28, 29. 28, 29 when he starts trying to
Figure it out.
Yeah, trying to figure it out because you sign 100. Like, come on, right now you give anyone. Let me give you $100 million. In my mind, I have what? $100 million.
But it's really 50 million. It's really 50.
Not 60.
Right.
You know what I mean?
50.
It's not, you got 60 million, not 100. So you're $35 million
It's gone.
Out the window.
out the window, but you don't know that yet. So how you're spending it on 100. Your mind is spent on $100 million. So like my advice to the young going in, doing your first contract, get a condo, get an apartment. You know what I mean? Spend money that's already in your account. So if the house is $2 million, if you don't have $2 million saved up, don't get it. Let that money kick in. Let it actually build in your account before you start purchasing stuff. Don't go out, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be playing on borrowed money, because if you can't see the money, then it's borrowed.
We had our meetings with Onyeka on Sunday with a bunch of financial guys. And, my goal for him, I just told him basically, I'm like, look, this is what we're going to do. If we can hopefully get enough endorsement income, we're going to live off that. And you're saving every penny of the paycheck. You ain't touching it. Mm-hmm. We're going to budget you off that, right? So, that's the goal, to start teaching these young guys.
Budget,
right?
Budget.
Should have had Tope in your life when you were a rookie. All this would have been
Yeah,
it turned out all right.
That dumbass scale I was looking at, it was that dumbass scale. I thought I was going to be top 10, and I moved 20.
Didn't work out that way, but it ended up working out in the end.
It worked out.
I got signed faster.
Yeah.
No, but guess what else, though, too? It worked out because also it lit a fire under your ass.
Yeah.
There we go.
But you already knew out.
It was already
that.
That made it worse.
It made it worse.
All right, Gil, we're going to wrap it up. It's been a hell of an episode. Tope, the linchpin, the founder, the creator, the originator, the Compton Magic. Thank you for coming on. We learned a lot today on the No Chill Show.
Yes. This is like a throwback to, back in my childhood, and updating me now that I'm a coach, trying to...
The past, present, and future.
Yes.
Baby Arenas will be on the Compton Magic 3 years from now.
Probably.
Stay tuned.
You heard it here first. It's the No Chill Show on Fubo every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.